I am not afraid of the ocean. I think it's fascinating. I think it's beautiful. I think it's exciting to see what we're going to find out about it in the upcoming years because we know so little about it. It's kind of like fascinating and yeah, a little bit terrifying at the same time because I mean, if we've already stepped on the moon, we don't even know what's on our own planet. I mean, come on, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, my fear of the ocean might change today because we are watching all of the ways the ocean can kill you. Let's get into the video, guys.
The ocean. From Ishmael of Moby Dick to the captains of Deadliest Catch, something about it calls to the adventurer in all of us. But while life on the sea may seem romantic, you can never forget that at any given moment, Poseidon is waiting to destroy you in an infinite number of ways. So, today we're dredging up all the ways the ocean can kill you. But before
I mean, I think I would feel pretty flattered if Poseidon himself slayed me in the ocean. I'm
For all that maritime mayhem, make sure you've subscribed to the Weird History channel. After that, pop on down to the comments and let us know what other deadly nature you want to hear about. All right, sailors, hope you packed some floaties.
Oh, I love the way he said, hope you packed some floaties.
Packed some floaties. Let's get something out of the way up front. Sea monsters do not exist. There are plenty of large animals that could instantly obliterate you, totally by accident. But krakens, megalodons, and Godzillas only exist in the movies. I know, it hit me hard too. But the ocean doesn't need sea monsters to unmake your day. Among the greatest threats this vast expanse presents to human life is just plain old exposure to cold water. As poor, doorless Jack from Titanic will tell you, even partial submersion in water between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit can kill you if you remain there too long, because it quickly removes the heat from your body. Within just a minute of exposure to ice-cold water, you can enter a kind of shock that causes dramatic changes to your breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. This makes it more taxing to swim to safety, if not impossible. Within 10 minutes, a swimmer in cold water can start to experience loss of muscle control, and it only takes about 20 to 30 minutes for hypothermia to set in. That's barely enough time for a whole podcast. Hypothermia occurs when your body's core temperature reaches below 35 degrees Fahrenheit.
How do people do cold plunging then? Because there's people that definitely are there for more than a minute. And this is probably like, these are probably Finnish people. I mean, Finnish people just, I don't know how they do it. I'm Finnish, but they will swim in ice cold water with no fear. I can't even put my toe in that. Ugh.
mild cases, the person only suffers mental confusion and extreme shivering. It's actually when the shivering stops that the real trouble begins. Extreme hypothermia can lead to hallucinations, increased risk of heart stoppage, and ultimately, death, the permanent kind. Then there's the movement of water to worry about. Rip currents are channels of water that quickly rush from the shoreline to the sea at speeds of up to 8 feet per second. Recreational beachgoers may notice that they start swimming in the ocean not very far from shore, but soon find themselves a good deal away from the beach. That's because water currents slowly and gently carry you out to sea, and they're difficult to spot at the surface as they build up underneath. Rip currents work via the same principle. They're just particularly powerful. As of 2022, rip currents were responsible for about 70 to 100 drownings each year, and they're also responsible for about 80% of lifeguard rescue situations. What makes them so dangerous is not just the actual movement of the water itself, but human psychology. People tend to panic when they find themselves being quickly pulled out to sea. Then they exhaust themselves swimming directly against the flow of water, hoping to reach land. If you ever find yourself stuck in a rip current, you have a few options. You can float and tread water, letting it carry you out until its power dissipates, typically beyond the line of breaking waves. Or swim, not against the current, but perpendicular to it, parallel to the shore, until you are out of the current and can make your way back to shore. Your third option is to
See, this is something that has happened to someone who well, I didn't personally know, but is close to me in a way. But so yeah, people take waves as a joke. It's not a joke. I also live in southern Spain, so I live close to the beach, and I remember as a child, getting like flushed, literally flushed up with the waves, and like not being able to get out. It's really hard to get out of that. It's very like, it's super um powerful, and when you think it's gonna stop, then another wave comes in, and so yeah, be careful, guys, be careful with the waves.
Make some room on that damn door, Rose. As we said, there are no such things as sea monsters, but there are definitely creatures in the ocean waiting to kill you. In fact, one of the deadliest waterborne species isn't even visible to the naked eye. Algae are simple microscopic organisms that typically thrive in water. When summertime storms churn the oceans, it leads to massive blooms of phytoplankton, which obtain their energy via photosynthesis, the same process that trees and other plants use to grow on land. This in turn leads to huge marine deposits of algae, known as algal blooms. Many of these algal blooms are totally non-toxic and perfectly healthy for humans to be around. But because nature loves surprises, this is not always the case. Some kinds of algae release toxins that are dangerous or even deadly to humans. So when they gather in large deposits, we end up with what's known as harmful algal bloom, or HAB for short.
I mean, I wouldn't swim in water that looks like acid anyways, but I have definitely seen that many times.
Those clever scientists. Swimming through a HAB can release toxins that impact the human nervous, digestive, respiratory, hepatic, dermatological, and cardiac systems. In other words, just about every process in the human body. In fact, beachgoers who didn't even go in the water but were merely too close to a HAB have reported upper respiratory symptoms, irritation to eyes and noses, fevers, and infections. But undetected HABs can also get inside the seafood we consume. Neurotoxic poisoning results from the consumption of clams, oysters, mussels, and other shellfish that have consumed the brevet.
Okay, time for a story time now. I'm gonna do this here because because why not? I was when I wasn't doing YouTube yet and I was actually working. I remember I was eating with my coworkers, and we were eating clams, and there was like 20 clams on the plate, and we were all sharing them, and somehow, well, if you're, by the way, if you're sensitive, then skip this talking part. Go further. Take your time. But yeah, somehow I had chosen a clam that was not completely okay. And so I didn't have a car yet because I just recently bought my first car. And so I would go on the bus. So I hopped on the bus to come back home, and it was an hour ride home. And yeah, I basically sat on the bus and I was like, okay. I'm not feeling well. Okay. Okay. And then it was an hour ride to my home, and there was no bus stop, so I had to tell the driver, like, I'm not feeling very well. Could you stop at some point on the way? And he's like, yeah, sure. Not right here, but I can stop like a while from here. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I guess what, like, it's not urgent or anything. And basically, just when he drove out of the highway to stop, I go to the front because I was not okay. I was not okay, guys. I go to the front and I'm like, can you stop right here? And before I could even finish the sentence, I basically blew up inside the bus, all over the windshield and all over everyone. And yeah, then I started violently throwing up in the bus. And he didn't even open the doors because we were both just in shock looking at each other like, what just happened? And then when he did open, then he was like, should I go? Should I not go? And I was like, please go, please leave. And everybody was watching me from the bus windows, and I was just like on the side of the road. Anyways, it was very traumatizing, guys. But this made me think maybe it had some algae in it. Anyways, let's get back to the video.
toxins given off by algal blooms. Complaints include abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, partial paralysis, and other symptoms you'd rather not experience. There are 69 different species of snakes that live in the oceans, and many of them are quite venomous. Most sea snakes are found in the waters of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and a number of them bear strong similarities to the land snakes that inhabit Australia, suggesting a common ancestry. Australia's animals are evidently so deadly they've begun invading the ocean. Many sea snakes have paddle-like tails and compressed bodies ideal for navigating the waters, but they're not to be confused with fish or eels. Sea snakes don't have gills and can't actually breathe underwater. All of them need to occasionally surface to take in oxygen, like dolphins, whales, and Super Mario in an underwater level. Though many species of sea snakes are...
Doesn't Super Mario breathe underwater? But don't fish have to go up for oxygen as well? Oh, probably not though. Or do they? Now I'm confused. See, this should be common knowledge. Do fish have to go up on the surface to take oxygen? Why did I think they do? But now when I think of it, like in the deep oceans, they probably don't go up to get oxygen. Just wouldn't make sense.
Highly venomous, they don't always release their venom when biting, which makes actual human fatalities exceptionally rare. A 2018 Australian fisherman's death from a sea snake bite was actually the first documented fatality since a pearl diver's death all the way back in 1935. In fact, on several occasions, people have reported getting bitten by sea snakes and not realizing it until discovering the tooth still lodged in their skin hours later. More than any other creature in the ocean, nothing inspires terror.
Just when you thought you were safe.
More than any other creature in the ocean, nothing inspires terror in a hapless swimmer quite like a shark. They are the LeBron James of aquatic danger. Well, despite what you may have heard from a famous Steven Spielberg movie, or a famous movie where they live inside tornadoes, sharks actually have little interest in eating people. In other words, sharks are likely to be one of your least concerns while you're out at sea. In 2023, there were only 69 reports of unprovoked shark attacks worldwide, and of those, only 10 resulted.
See, I kind of like sharks, and I'm so delusional. By the way, the bear addiction was not a joke, guys. But I'm just delusional, and I would think that I could befriend a shark too, which probably wouldn't happen. But you know, it's nice to dream big.
In human fatalities. The deadliest place for shark attacks that year was the United States, and the bulk of those happened in Florida, which alone is responsible for nearly half of the world's shark attacks. Australia had to settle for second place with just 15 attacks. Sharkadile Dundee was devastated. For the most part, when sharks do bite humans, it's by accident. The animal was probably just curious or had mistaken a human or surfboard for a marine creature that it actually likes to eat. Surprisingly, shark attacks are often survivable, if terrifying and costly in the limb department. They're relatively rare, but if you go looking for trouble, there are some deadly species of octopus that will make you rethink that adorable documentary from a few years back. While many of the eight-legged creatures famously use ink to distract and disorient their enemies, some species are noted for their powerful venom. Blue-ringed octopuses are a species native to the Pacific and Indian Oceans, characterized by their blue and black rings that change color when the animal is threatened. They prefer to eat small crustaceans like crabs and shrimp, but when provoked, they're among the deadliest species of marine life, capable of dispensing tetrodotoxin, the same neurotoxin dispensed by the infamously lethal pufferfish. When a human is exposed to TTX, they experience a loss of sensation accompanied by the paralysis of muscles, such as the diaphragm, which can cause them to stop breathing entirely. Fortunately, if you encounter a blue-ringed octopus, it will most often...
Yeah, okay, this did me. Yeah, I would not like to come across one of these guys.
avoid conflict unless you give it a reason. As a wise man once said, "Don't start nothing, won't be nothing." Among the most mysterious and, let's face it, creepy marine animals is the jellyfish, members of the subphylum Medusozoa, that are notable for their free-swimming, gelatinous bodies. The jellyfish's squishy part, the so-called bell, is actually composed of a substance called mesoglea, which
Sorry, I had to stop this because there's so many jellyfish here in the summertime, and I think maybe I don't know if it was this year or last year. I saw the biggest jellyfish I'd have ever seen in my life. Usually they're like pretty small here, but they hurt a lot. I've gotten stung by one, but this jellyfish that I saw was like 3 meters tall at least. It was massive. Like the head part of it was probably 3 times my head. Insane.
the so-called bell, is actually composed of a substance called mesoglea, which is mostly water bound together by fibrous proteins like collagen.
Oh my god! And there's this thing that's called jellyfish lamps, or like it's like a tank for jellyfish with colors. Oh my god! I forgot that I've wanted one for so long, but it's like pretty expensive, so it didn't cross my mind again after I seen it. But I want to get like a little jellyfish tank with lights, even though I would feel bad. I don't know if they have consciousness. They probably don't, but I would still feel bad to have them like there. But oh, that would be so cool.
It's also how the creature moves through the water. The bell pulsates and contracts, pushing the animal forward, like a cartoon character with bad gas. While some cultures consider jellyfish a culinary delicacy, in the West, jellyfish are most commonly associated with their painful stings. Many species have tentacles armed with a specialized kind of cell known as nematocysts, which can pierce skin and inject venom. Only a certain subset of jellyfish stings are even detectable by humans. Thousands of swimmers are stung by jellyfish each year, and most of them are just fine a few minutes later. However, there are a few kinds of jellyfish with such potent venom, their stings are extremely painful
They're
or
so
even fatal to humans, such
pretty.
as a certain species of box jellyfish. Beyond potentially delivering a killer dose of venom to a person, box jellyfish have significantly more complex and developed nervous systems than the average jellyfish. Some researchers report they develop more environmentally aware, fish-like behavior in the wild than other jellyfish. And if that's not upsetting enough, some species can have tentacles that stretch over 10 feet long. That's almost one Victor Wembanyama. Box jellyfish are also difficult to avoid if you're looking to start a seafaring life. They're native to the tropical Indo-Pacific region, which spans a pretty good stretch of territory. Some box jellyfish have been found as far north as California, as far east as Japan, and as far south as New Zealand. So just stick to the Atlantic and you'll be fine. Still, despite all these sinister facts, the chances of actually getting smoked by a box jellyfish are fairly low. Most species aren't fatal to humans, and it's estimated that they're responsible for fewer than 100 human deaths each year. Many box jellyfish stings only produce bad skin
Each year though, that's quite like that's quite a hefty amount, isn't it?
irritation. By the way, though it's often repeated in popular media, like that we only use 10% of our brains nonsense, the idea that human urine can counteract a jellyfish sting is just a myth. There's no direct scientific evidence that it makes any
Good.
difference. However, applying vinegar directly to a jellyfish sting might have some effect. It neutralizes undischarged nematocysts, which can prevent the release of additional venom. So, even if you do wind up stranded on a desert island, don't take any survival tips from Lost. So what do you think? What's your worst ocean-related fear? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.
This just reminded me that in my Dominican side of the family, I don't know what it is, but they use vinegar for everything. Like if you have scalp issues, you put vinegar in. Hair growth, vinegar. Everything gets fixed with vinegar. But yeah, well, I mean, okay, I'm not like afraid of the ocean, but I would not like to meet this guy though. This startled me. The octopus. Like getting paralyzed under the water. Oh, no, I did not like that. Let me know what's your biggest fear of the ocean, or what do you fear from the ocean? And thank you guys for joining me for this video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.